All right, so our next functional group are amines, which are nitrogen-containing compounds. So the simplest of which is ammonia, which is just NH3. And then don't forget that this ammonia and almost all of our amines are going to have this lone pair. And so this lone pair is both nucleophilic and basic. So our amines in general will act as nucleophiles and bases. Similar to alcohols, we can have primary, secondary, tertiary, and whatnot. So for example, if we have one R group, so just one R group and then two H's, that's primary. Two R groups, that's secondary. Three R groups will be tertiary. And then the cool thing about amines is that we can have four R groups. And then our nitrogen then has a positive charge. And so this is quaternary. And these R groups are obviously not hydrogen. There's usually some kind of alkyl or aryl groups. One big thing to note here is that we're talking about amines. This right here is an amide, right? Amines and amides have very different chemical properties. They are not the same thing. They're both nitrogen-containing compounds with a lone pair, but their chemistry is much different. As we said, our nitrogens can act as bases. So for example, if you had a molecule of HCl, you would protonate your amine. So there's it acting as a base. And then of course it can act as a nucleophile as well. So for example, we can attack an alkyl halide. So let's just do methyl chloride. Attack there. We're going to do an SN2 reaction. And what you can see is that these two reactions are essentially the same, right? The nucleophile and the base reactions are the same. It's just depending on what it's attacking. And really, they really are the same. A nucleophile, when something is acting as a nucleophile, it's acting as a Lewis base, an electron pair donor. And that's exactly what's happening up top. So this one up top here is also a Lewis base. But since it's accepting an H plus as well, it's also a Bronsted-Lowry base. Whereas the example below here, it's only acting as a Lewis base. And so remember, Lewis versus Bronsted-Lowry type of bases, it's kind of like all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares type of situation.